Men of Reddit, what was the turning point in your life that completely changed your personality? Alright, buckle up. I've got a story that's gonna make you question everything you thought you knew about military recruitment. This isn't some heroic tale of a soldier who joined to fight for freedom, no. This is the story of how a lazy, video game obsessed, pizza-loving guy, me, ended up in the military. And not just in any branch, nope, I ended up in the army. And not just in the army, but in an elite unit, where every day was a fight for survival, and sometimes, survival meant getting out of bed before noon. It all started with a clickbait ad. You know the type, be the hero you've always dreamed of, or defend the country and get free college. I was in my mid-20s, living in my mom's basement, yeah, I said it, playing Call of Duty for hours, and eating junk food like I was in some kind of competition. The closest I'd ever come to a real battle was when I accidentally spilled hot sauce on my shirt while trying to microwave some frozen burritos. One day, I saw the ad. It popped up between a YouTube video and a meme about dogs doing backflips. Join the military. Experience true adventure. Recruitment bonus. Yeah, they had me at bonus. I clicked it, mainly because I was bored and honestly, I didn't think they'd take someone like me seriously. I filled out the form half-heartedly. Name? Sure. Age? Yeah, whatever. Interests? Video games, avoiding exercise, and the occasional nap. Okay, I might have embellished that a bit, but I was in a mood. I didn't expect to hear back. Fast forward 2 weeks, and I get a call. A recruiter, super eager and way too enthusiastic for my liking, on the other end of the phone. Hey, is this Ben Parker? Yeah, speaking. This is Sergeant Timmons from the U.S. Army recruiting station. I'm just following up on your interest in joining the Army. How's it going? Now, I wasn't sure how to respond. I mean, I wasn't really interested, I just clicked the damn ad. But I was also kinda curious. So, I gave him some non-committal responses. Yeah, I saw the ad. I mean, free college sounds cool, but I dunno, man, I'm more of a stay home and game kinda guy. Sergeant Timmons didn't let that faze him. Well, Ben, what if I told you that you could get that free college, plus a bunch of perks? Not to mention, you'll be part of something bigger than yourself. Plus, we have new gaming systems in our break rooms at the training base, so you can keep up with your gaming skills while training. Now, I was hooked. Gaming systems in a military base? This guy was speaking my language. Okay. But what about, like, running and all that, military stuff? I mean, I'm more of a sprint to the fridge kind of guy, you know? Timmons laughed, like I was a joke to him. Oh, Ben, trust me, we can work with that. You don't have to be a super athlete to join. We'll get you in shape, no problem. You'll be playing Call of Duty in real life by the time you're done with boot camp. I was sold. So, I agreed to meet with him, thinking I'd just go through some paperwork, maybe try on a uniform, and see what kind of snacks they had at the recruitment office. That meeting changed my life. I showed up to the recruitment office with a hoodie on, my hair a mess, and no intention of doing anything serious. Sergeant Timmons, though, was like a dog on a leash, always pacing, always smiling. Alright, Ben, we're gonna get you set up for your ASVAB test, he said, leading me into a room with a desk and a computer. Wait, what now? The ASVAB. It's the test you take to figure out what job you're qualified for in the Army. You take it, we figure out where you'll fit in, and boom, basic training, here you come. I stared at the computer screen, trying to remember anything from high school. The first question was about math, and I immediately regretted my entire existence. But somehow, I powered through. I mean, I played games where I had to solve puzzles and equations. How hard could this be? Turns out, it was hard. Like, my brain is melting hard. But somehow, I passed. Barely. And next thing I knew, I was signing my name on a dotted line, agreeing to become a United States Army soldier. Fast forward to basic training. Holy crap, I had no idea what I was in for. I showed up in the middle of the night, bags under my eyes from a solid week of pre-deployment gaming. I was greeted by Drill Sergeant Daniels, who was the type of person who looked like he could bench press a truck and eat a pineapple whole without blinking. He took one look at me, tired, unfit, and wearing a hoodie, and let out a grunt. You're a long way from your gaming chair, Private. You think you can keep up with the real deal? I was about to say something clever, like, give me a controller, and I'll show you, but I quickly realized that was the last thing I should say to a guy who could probably snap me in half with a glare. Instead, I just mumbled something about trying my best. Basic training was, well, hell. It was a lot of running, a lot of yelling, and a lot of things I wasn't prepared for, like push-ups at 5 a.m. and having to crawl through mud while someone screamed at me about my lack of discipline. But I'll admit, there was something satisfying about it too. The more I pushed through, the more I started to feel like I was actually accomplishing something. My body started to hurt in places I didn't know I had, but I was still alive. And that, my friends, was something to be proud of. But then came the final test, the live field operation. It was supposed to simulate a real mission. We were supposed to move through a wooded area, set up an ambush, and take down a target. Easy enough, right? I'd played enough Call of Duty to know the ropes. Except, the enemy in this case wasn't a bunch of fake NPCs. No, it was a group of our own soldiers acting as opposing forces. And let me tell you, these guys were way too good at sneaking around. We were crouched behind some bushes, trying to stay out of sight when we heard footsteps. My heart was racing. I could hear my breathing over the sound of the trees rustling. My palms were sweaty. My mind was screaming at me to run, but I stayed still. Suddenly, someone screamed, "Move out," and the whole squad charged forward. I froze, unsure of what to do. But somehow, I got my legs moving, and before I knew it, I was sprinting toward the target. I dodged left, right, and then... boom! I was on the ground, looking up at Drill Sergeant Daniels, who was smirking at me like he knew I'd be the first one to go down. "You're out, Private," he said, shaking his head. "But hey, you tried. I'll give you that." I just stared at him, half dead and completely confused. "So, can I still get the free college thing?" I made it through basic training somehow. And by the time I was shipped off to my unit, I had earned a little respect. A little. But I wasn't exactly the poster child for the military. My peers and I bonded over late-night chow hall shenanigans and the occasional practice mission, which usually ended in us getting lost in the woods or accidentally walking into the wrong barracks. Eventually, I got assigned to a real unit, 117th Recon. It wasn't exactly the high-speed, low-drag force I had imagined, but it was mine. I learned to carry gear that was way too heavy, work as part of a team, even when I wanted to play solo, and survive in the field when things went sideways. And the weirdest part? I started to like it. Not the mud or the push-ups, but the camaraderie, the challenge, the weirdly satisfying sense of accomplishment when we completed a mission, even if we barely made it out in one piece. So yeah, military life wasn't what I thought it'd be. It was harder, stranger, and way less glamorous than I expected. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. And who knows? Maybe someday, I'll even get that free college.